Okay, we're on. And this is new for me, but I'm so excited to come to y'all and talk to you about what we're about to start with Voice for the Vulnerable Ministries. And the reason I have someone with me today that I want to introduce you to, I felt like this deserved more than just a post about it. And you may see this video shared a few times over the next couple days for the kickoff. I'm starting a brand new podcast. And I've been very anxious to do this. I know the Lord's wanted me to do this for some time, but just sort of been waiting on his timing and needed to get some things finished in my own life. And school was a big part of that. So we are right here ready to kick off this podcast. We've been working behind the scenes. And so, yes, right. You've been working behind the scenes with me, and you're going to be like, who is she? And we're going to get into that. So this is just a little bit of a fun video, a little bit of a format that I wanted you to see the faces behind some of the voices you're going to hear on the upcoming podcast. And we just felt this was the best way to sort of introduce you to us and get you excited, hopefully, as we are about this new ministry opportunity for Voice for the Vulnerable. So most of you know me. I'm Alicia Reagan, and I live in Lafayette, Georgia. I've lived here for 5 years now, which blows my mind. But I will get into my personal story as we go through the years, and I'm sure that she will over time. You'll get more pieces as we deal with different things. But big picture is I have had a spinal cord injury since 2009. I use a wheelchair full time, so I deal with a disability, chronic pain. And I've been divorced since that's why I've been here in Georgia for 5 years. So I'm divorced, and that's a different story also. But a lot of things the Lord's allowed in my life that I have just learned that Jesus is enough, and it has been a journey. And that is really what we're going to journey into. And so I want you to meet my cousin. Yes, she is my cousin. And I'm going to let her tell you her name and everything about her. And then after she does that, I'll get into why her. Why did I ask my cousin to journey this new podcast with me? So Abby, go right ahead and tell us who you are, where you're from, and tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay. My name is Abby Watson, and I have been married for 18, going on 19 years. I have 4 kids, and the youngest of which is 1, what a life stage. Got teenagers and a 1-year-old. I live in Tennessee, and not too far from Alicia, thankfully. But the Lord's been working with me for a couple years to just really put all my time, energy, and focus into serving him more with my family, with my church, and whatever way he has ready for me. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah. So I was I'm not sure how old I was what year were you born, Abby?
88.
Okay. So I was born in 77. So I was 11 years old when Abby was born. And at that time, we all sort of lived around each other.
Yes,
and so we got to have, a lot of our childhood together. Wonderful, wonderful memories. And I've sort of been the big sister of her whole clan, is my claim. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
Oh, so good. No. I mean, there were times, you were kind of bossy, but I still loved you.
Good. I hope I rubbed off on you. I hope you're bossy too. But...
Oh, you did. Okay,
good. But I have watched Abby. The point of that, I've watched Abby grow up, and I've watched Abby's life choices, and I've watched things that Abby has gone through that have been great trials, and to watch her faith from afar has been encouragement to me. And so seeing Abby and watching her life and many conversations we've had about many things. But when I was praying about this podcast, there's always a voice that introduces and says things. And I just felt like it didn't need to be my only voice. And I was just praying about who to help me with that, and also to partner with me in this, because I know if this is something the Lord wants, we already know the devil doesn't like it, and he's going to fight it. And a lot. We've been talking about this a lot too the last month.
Yeah.
And so the Lord had laid Abby on my heart, and I just recently spoke back early in December at her church. And while I was there, we had a conversation, and I told her that I was wanting to get this started. I wanted her to see what she thought. And we've talked about some ministry ideas that hopefully the Lord will let us do in the future that I certainly want her to be a part of. But she just was really on my heart to ask her to be about this. And so she said, I just asked her to pray about it, and if that's not what the Lord wanted, of course, I didn't want that. And Abby had to figure that out for herself. And so really seeing Abby's faith, knowing the struggles and the trials that she has went through over several different things in her life, that's her story to share, not in the future also, but watching that and just seeing her natural responses and then her faith response. And that's important. That's important. And I think, Abby, that's one thing that can encourage us as we go forward is people are always watching, even when you don't know it. And so she went out for just a minute, and we're going to give her a second to get back on. Just a tiny pause. That's okay. See what we meant? We talk about the devil fighting, and there we go. So I just told him to wait till you come back on. So if we either want to go out, that's what we'll do. We'll just hold the fort down until we get back on. But and this is the first time we've done this. We're trying to figure out this software. We're trying to figure out all these things, and Abby's been a huge help so much. So Abby, I asked you. You said you would pray about it, and now take us from there.
Yeah. So it's weird. Like God things can sometimes hit me so strange. I'm like, wow, you weave all this together. But you were talking about that, and it's been probably 2 years ago, maybe 3, that I was struggling, and I was my long time that I barely get with all these kids, but I was just praying, God, what do you have for me? What do you want? But I was listening to podcasts. It's just funny and I was like, here are these women pouring out their hearts and their souls on this podcast. And I was like, it was so encouraging to me that the thing that hit my mind was, I would love to do this. I mean, like, these women are being vulnerable. They're being real. And this is so encouraging. And I just thought, that's cool. I would love to do that someday. But then my next thought was, like, what, how, and then I was like, okay, we're not even going to get into this. We're not going to worry about it. I'm going to be praying about it. Like, God, this is something I'd like to do. If that's something you want me to be a part of, I'm here. I'm ready. And honestly, wasn't really a thought in my mind again until the cookie exchange. And you said that, and then you were like, I'd like you to pray about it. I was like, wow, that is so wild, because that thought hit me again. God recalled that to my mind. He's like, remember when you wanted to do that? Oh yeah, that's so exciting. I was like, that's so cool. So I have been praying about it. I mean, pretty hard. And of course, I forgot to add that I kind of work part-time, more of the hobby than anything, because it's just basically family and friends. But part of me was a gung-ho, yes. And then part of me was like, how am I going to fit all this in? As a busy mom. But I just asked the Lord, I was like, if this is something you want me to do, you take and you add whatever it is that you want, and I'm going to hold everything with open hands and just trust you. And the way he's moved since has been like uncanny, really, to me. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, you see God's hand move, and if you're paying attention, it's wild. Like, it gets, it gets a little crazy. But I really do think, I've been praying about it and just asking him. And then, like you were talking about the devil fighting, we were trying to get together just to talk about it. And then there was all this snow and sickness. And I was like, okay, Lord, are we waiting on your timing? Or are we fighting the devil here? Because, whichever way it's going to go, I'm I'm ready for whatever you want.
Yeah. So that we talked about that the other day, that this journey of following Jesus is like a roller coaster. It's exhilarating and terrifying all at the same time. Mm-hmm, and it is. Because you just feel like you don't want to start something and be a failure. Nobody wants to do that. And then you have to come back and be like, okay, is this my failure? Will this be God's failure? Well, if God calls us to this, then I'm confident he's going to equip us and enable us to do this. But it is scary to know what's going on, especially when we feel like, do we even know what's going on? And, I think Abby and I both had a big talk about this. And here we go again. She's coming back. She's coming back.
Sorry.
That's all right. but one of the things, that we're just going to let this to be the Lord's.
Mhm.
Can you hear us? Because we still don't have video of you.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
But while you get back up, it's fine. While you get back up, one of the things I'm just going to go ahead and talk about where we're at with this is we're going to proceed. And really the format as we go forward is going to be that I'm going to give a short devotional about 5 days a week that just be about 10 minutes long or so, just to get everybody charged up for the day. Just an exciting talk, an encouraging talk, that what we can do for the Lord is just do that every day. And then you will hear Abby's voice. She will be the one introducing the podcast. She'll be the one speaking at the end. So you will hear her voice, but there are certain things that need more conversation. And you have this conversation style that I felt like that's where I wanted to know, Abby, are you interested in us ever doing video formats like this, that we can just come on and talk? And as people ask more questions, I know I already get questions about things. I think it's good to just kind of talk those out with another person instead of sort of just talking to it to you.
To the air.
Yeah. It just has a two-sided conversation is good. So I can hear you, but your screen is still black and I don't know. There's nothing on my buttons that I can see that I need to do about it, but
I'm
with
working
that,
on it. Sorry.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Do you want to speak into the fact of being a busy mom? And again, let's talk about Miles being 1 year old and what that looks like and how we're just going to trust the Lord with just doing the videos as we feel we need to.
Yeah. So you're probably going to hear screaming in the background of things that I'm on. My baby
Real as it gets,
right? Yeah, I mean, really, I love him so much. He's such a sweetheart, but he is high maintenance. He's the baby of the family. He loves attention, and yeah. So while I was so excited, I'm like, man, how am I going to allot time that's quiet? So sometimes, and it's not about being perfect, and I want to be as best as I can to serve him. But it's like if I'm waiting for everything to line up and everything to be perfect, then I would get absolutely nowhere because I've never had anything line up completely perfect.
Right.
But
so
yeah, so just trusting the Lord to take this and do with it what he wants to, because like you already said, if he's in this, there might be battles, but he's going to equip us and he'll make it all work out. Just so much trusting in that.
Yeah. And I think, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to, I know this is what the Lord has for us. And if you have the clear yes to go forward with it with me, then I've been thrilled about that. I felt like that's what God wanted, but I can't speak for God in your life. And so I'm just so excited that the Lord's going to let us do this together.
Me too. Very excited.
And I think it's good. I think it's good to hold each other. I think, in the New Testament, we see people were sent out 2 by 2. And I think there's a good principle in that. And the fact that when one of you is discouraged, the other one gets to encourage. There's accountability in that. There's a strength in numbers. And so we know the Lord is with us. And then to have another woman of faith that has been through things and you see has turned to the Lord in those times. It doesn't mean we don't struggle in that, but that is the conclusion. That's where we have drawn the line in the sand. If this ship's going down, it's going down with Jesus. Right. So
that's right.
and to find that that's where we land and we choose Christ over circumstances is huge. And so I'm honored that you're wanting to do this with me. And I'm so thankful.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I am too. And so we don't know. We're not techie girls. And I know I say that I do graphic design, but as far as like softwares and figuring out all the aspects of this, we will learn. We're
learning. It's a learning.
We will get somebody to help us. But
yes,
either way, we will. We're going to plow forward. And that's all we're going to do. We feel like the Lord has said go. And we don't know where it will go, but we know who we're going with.
That's right.
And that is Jesus. So we're just going to follow the Spirit on this and let the Lord lead us. And I'm very excited about where we're heading. We're going to start out with the first section of podcast being about finding joy and purpose again in our Bible reading. I've just written my first little booklet. And when I say little booklet, that's exactly what it is. But just some simple tips to help us enjoy getting into the Word of God. And that's not ready yet, but it's coming. And so we're going to kind of hit that the first couple weeks with the podcast and go over some of that stuff. And then that resource will be available for anybody that wants to carry that on with them later. So, Abby, I'm excited. And I wish I could see your face again. It's circling on my end like you're trying really hard to.
Sorry.
There we go. Good. I didn't want to end this thing without seeing you again. I mean, I've just been talking and talking.
Sorry, I was working on it.
That's great. But we will. This is what I'm saying. This is what we're going to do. So it's fine. It's good. It's real, Abby. It's real.
Well,
And
be better next time.
I've never done well.
Yeah.
It is very real. And I've never done well with the, by the way, if you're a pearls and heels kind of woman, that's great. I've just always struggled at ladies events and things. And I love to go. I love the fellowship, but I just see this manicured, there's at times it's just comes across like, girl, I don't know where you live, but I'm down here in the trenches and I'm in the mud and I will never get where you are.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's not real for them either. And I think we just do better to say, hey, we are all really broken. We're all very needy. We are nothing but God. And that's this podcast, Beyond Brokenness. Doesn't mean the brokenness goes away. It means that you can move beyond it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to hear your story more in the future, and we'll break things down, but I'm excited. Are you ready? Are we ready?
So excited.
Okay.
Yes, we're doing this.
Okay. All right. Well, I love you. And we hope if you're out there that you will, we'll put all the info out for the podcast with this, and hope that you'll go ahead and subscribe and get ready. We're going to be dropping the first few episodes this week, and we'll be ready to roll. So yeah, I am too. Anything else you want to say before we go?
I mean, not that I can think of. I'm just excited to get going.
Me too. We're going to go. Hey, we made it through the first video. So
we did.
That's something. All right, friend. I love you. And thank you for all your help getting this rolling. And
yep. So excited.
We'll hang on for the ride, right?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.